Hello, Photoshop Senior Edition, folks. This is going to be a little bit different. I've got 4 brushes that I'm giving to you to make big splashes with. For instance, what you see here. So to do that, here are the brushes. There's 4 inside this little folder. So what you need to do is go into your computer and need to go into where Photoshop actually resides, and all I can do is show you where on mine Photoshop resides. You can also type in here Adobe CC 2017 or Photoshop CC 2017 to find this, but if you go into your operating system's hard drive, is usually where you'll find Photoshop. It's under Program Files, and here's Program Files, and here's Adobe, and here is my Adobe 2017. So all you have to do from there is go into Presets right here, and right here you'll see Brushes. So all you would need to do at this point, well, you can go ahead and open that, and you'll see the brush sets that are available to you right now. You can just click and drag and drop this into your folder. And it says you'll need permission to do that. And I give myself permission, so I'm going to continue. So now you see Steve Special Splash ABR.ABR. That's the little ending for the brush sets. And once you open Photoshop, let me show you that next. So here we are in Photoshop, and you can go ahead and come over here and click on a brush, and actually there we go. Then we go over here to the little gear, and you want to load a brush. So what we'll do is just click on Load Brushes, and it'll show you the brushes that are in there. And here's Steve's Special Splash, and then we'll just move this up where you can see it and click on Load. And here are these right here are the special brushes that I created. Now, what will probably happen in yours, what could happen on yours when you do that, let me get my brush back open again. When you tell it to load the brush, you may see Steve Special Brushes down here when you open this up. That's where I would go to first. If you see Steve Special Brushes or Special Splash in this list, then just click on it. Then it'll pop up and say, do you want to open it or do you want to append? If you open that brush set, it will replace all of the brushes that you currently have open. So you don't want to do that. You want to click over on the right hand button that says append, and then it will add these brushes. You see this gave me a second set of the same brushes down here when I loaded those in. So when you go up here after you put that in to your Photoshop software, come up here and look for it in this drop down first. If you don't see it, then you would go and load brushes, and then it'll go right to the brush folder and you can pick it out. But I would guess that it's going to come up in here. It did on my laptop without any trouble. So that's how to load those special brushes that I'm giving you, and we'll do a video on that next. Alright, to follow along you need to open up the Bren Basketball Single Layer .psd file, and when you open that you'll notice that it's got a layer, 2 layers, and you see the checkerboard, which means there's nothing behind him. You got Bren and a ball. So if we turn on the move tool, we can move him anywhere we want to. So what we're going to do is lift him out of here and put him in another image. So let's just try this on a, well, let's just do a file new, and let's open up something that's high resolution. So let's go with 8 by 10 is fine, because this gives us some room to splatter. We're going to splatter color all over the place. So let's just click on that, 8 by 10, 300 resolution, and click on create. Now let's go over to Bryn. All we need to do is click and hold with our mouse and drag and bring that up, and just come down and drop it here in this image, and we can move him anywhere we want to in the image. I'm going to put him say down in there, and it's not a high resolution image by any stretch, but it's something that we can use. And he was running obviously at the time, so there's a little softness in that part of the image, or in that image. Okay, so remember we loaded up those 4 brushes. So now we're going to employ those brushes. Now, here's the thing. With the brush, we can put in any color that we want to. We don't have to use this black background either. We can turn it to white. Let's just do that. I'm hitting D as in dog, which gives us the black and white, which are the default colors. That's why the letter D. So let's fill it with white, and to do that, all we have to do is hold down the Alt or Option key and hit Delete or backspace. And wrong. We hit Control or Command and backspace, and we have our white. Now, I put that on top of Bryn, so that wasn't particularly sharp thing to do. So Control Z that, Control Alt Z to get back one more step, and let's do it right now. And I'll put it on top here, and Control or Command backspace. Okay, so now again, turn on the brush, and we're going to go up here to our brush picker, and here are the 4 brushes that you got in your little brush packet. Now, it doesn't matter which one you start with. It doesn't matter if you just use one. But experiment with all 4 of them to see what they do. Some of them are meant to just click, and some of them are meant to click and drag. So you have to kind of see that. So let's just click on this first one. See, this first one is number 1, Steve's number 1 splash. Number 2 splash, 3, and 4. So let's go with number 1 first, and we'll just click up here on the title bar, and you see the size of the brush. It will come off as the default size. It won't be larger or smaller, but we can use the right bracket key to make it larger and left bracket key to make it smaller if we want. But let's not paint with black and white. Let's click on the color picker, and you can sample off of his clothing or the ball, for example, to use those colors. So if I press the letter I as in India, it turns into the eyedropper. If you look over here, the eyedropper is selected. So we can just click on the pants, for example, and I'll get in here where the darker red color is. Notice now our color picker is red. Now, what I would do is start off creating a layer or 2. So let's go over here and just click on a layer, and we want the layer right now to possibly be underneath Bryn, and then we'll put some over Bryn as well. Doing that will allow us to build some depth, having splattering going behind him and splattering over the top. So we've got red selected, we've got our brush selected, and now if you click it and drag, you'll see it doesn't keep painting. Every time you click it, this brush changes shape. So you see now it's much larger. So if we hit it again, nothing happened that time. If we hit it again, and then bang, we got a whole different looking splatter. Hit it again, and now it's a huge splatter. Now the brush is even bigger this time. So we hit it again, and we can hit it again, and notice the opacity is also different. Down here it's a pink, here it's darker red. Part of the brush is that there's a variation in the colors, so we can just click and keep exploding this chalk-like, and then we'll click over here, maybe click up back on top of it to just kind of keep some of that building up. Hit it again there. Now those are all on one layer. If it were me, normally I would create multiple layers to make these, because after a while sometimes you look back and you say, well, you know, I wished I hadn't gone ahead and kept maybe this part here. Well, we can, you know, do Control-Alt-Z and go back several spaces or steps, but you have far more control if it's on its own layer. Usually I switch layers when I want to switch color. So let's go ahead and click on the new layer icon, and now let's change the color. Let's go over here and click on the color picker, and maybe we can go into the image and pick another color, or we can just, I'm going to go for an orange color, and we can go ahead and click and, you know, keep using this same brush, or let's go back and click on the next brush, and this would be the number 2 splatter. And now if we click and drag, notice it paints multiple explosions of chalk. Okay, so let me drag that again. I'm going to drag it right through here so you can see. See, it just keeps painting. Unlike the first brush, this is a drag, and look at the different intensities that this built in different places. So let's create another layer again, and maybe this time also create one over Brennan. So I'll click on the layer with Bren and click on the new layer icon. Let's go and pick let's try the yellow. We'll sample that ball, and we'll just bring the color picker out, and we get the actual. Let's brighten it up a little bit more. Let's go with that. And now if we paint and drag, see, we're over the top. This layer is over the top of the layer that Bren's on. We can just click in here and type Bren. And now the nice thing about having this stuff on its own layer, when you click on that and do a Control-A or a Command-A, it selects everything but only on that one layer. And you can go ahead and click in multiple places, and all you got to do, if you get to the point where I really don't like that, just hit the backspace, and everything that's on that layer goes away. So let's try going and switching the brush to the next one, and this one we can click and drag it as well. It's a little bit different in some of the variations, and now we got the splatter. And let me zoom in, not wanting that. Control space bar held down, and I'll click a few times, and you see this paint or chalk dust has sprayed on Brennan as well. So we've also got a change in the size of the brush. And now, even though we can click and drag this and get continuing splatters, we can also single click it. So I'm going to single click Let's put a new layer up there. I'm going to single click right in here just to get some of that splatter inside of his hair. Now let's go, and we got some blue in the shirt, so let's click on the color picker again and go down here and click on that blue. Let's make it a little more intense blue, and let's go to the last brush that we have and let's zoom out, control minus. Let's just click over here, and we can drag it, and we can also single click it. Now we're on top again, so maybe that's more blue than we want. I'll go to a control Z. You can stop wherever you want, obviously. We can also go back down here and say, I want to put some blue in, but I want to put it into the background. So if we click on the background layer, we can create a new layer there that's going to be behind everything else. And I can click in there and over in there a little bit, up here at the top. And so we've filled in pretty much all the spaces there and created quite the dust splatter. Again, though, we can keep switching, changing the colors to whatever else we might want. And remember, I'm on the very bottom down here, so if we want to put something up on top, we need to get above Bren, which is right in there. So let's create a new layer, and so this is one of those, to me, one of those fun things that you can do in an image just to see what you can make using splatters. Just throw in the paint or the chalk. To me, it's more like a chalk dust flying through the air. But it's a lot of fun to be able to do that and be creative. There's all kinds of subjects that we can work with. We don't have to have somebody that's running or whatever. You can just take a scene and start making splashes of light. So hopefully you will take the brushes that I'm letting you have, and that's only for this class. I'm only making it available through an email that you will get the brushes themselves. So have some fun with those, and I wouldn't mind seeing some of the things that you might come up with. And we'll take a look at playing with this some in class. Hopefully some of you will have your computers and do some playing with it during class time. Well, that's it for this video. Bye for now.